Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Legit Football NFL podcast. I'm your host, Kevin Phillip Fox, and you can wager I'm smiling for a reason. Those of you who follow the show know well why I'm smiling. Let me rack focus here really quick so you guys can see just how many teeth I have in my mouth. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm your host, Kevin Phillip Fox. This is the Legit Football NFL podcast, and all is not lost in the world of football. There are things to be happy about, and we'll be talking about some of them today, and we'll be talking about some of the things that we aren't happy about as well. As per the green hoodie, go Eagles, go Birds, right? I'm here with my partner in crime from down under, the man himself, Mr. Adrian Revito. Adrian, how the hell are you? Okay, new walk-up music?
New royalty-free music. You know how I roll?
Walk-up music? I love it.
Look, it's a special show. You know, I wanted to pull some new things out, and I got a couple surprises along the way. There's your focus.
Oh, yeah, right? We got it. We knew we'd get there.
I'm good, my friend. I'm not as good as you are, I'm sure. You just missed Fabian making his weekly podcast appearance.
Yeah, I was hoping he'd be on the screen. I waxed poetic for too long. I smiled.
He saw that cheesy ass grin. He knew it was that cheesy ass grin. He was like, I'm out.
He's like, I can't do this. I can't do this. So without further ado, we're not doing this alone today, and we're very lucky. We're very blessed to have the third slice of our weekly pie, and that is the great Jimmy Ray from NFL Stats.
What is up?
What's poppin', Hamburglar? Hey, we can't hear you, brother.
It's the music.
Oh, take
now
two.
we can.
Can you hear me now?
I can hear you now.
Loud and clear.
It's Adrian's fault. I'm glad. It wasn't my fault.
100%. It's always the
100%. It's always Adrian's fault.
It's a good way to approach life. Just blame me. Works for my wife. Works for my friends.
Yeah.
I'm just glad we got all three of us here. It's been a while.
It's pretty awesome. And for those of you who are watching the podcast, you could probably see there's an empty square in the corner. I wonder if that's going to get filled. Well, let's end the suspense early, okay? We have joining us for the very first time Adrian's friend from Australia, who somehow might be more handsome than Adrian's Australian friend, Luke. Luke, welcome to the podcast.
100%.
Thanks for having me, guys. I was laughing in the background there for ages.
Yeah, it's fun, man. We have a good time on the show. You're gonna have an absolute blast, bro.
Can't wait.
So you're an NFL fan, unlike like Adrian, like unlike the majority of Australians, but like Adrian.
Nah, there's actually a few of us down here, believe it or not.
Is that right?
We're quiet about it because we're scared to talk.
You don't want to get punched in the face by the rugby guys, right there. Those are tough guys.
Yeah, big time.
Are Australian NFL fans like the wimps, or is it the other way around? Like, who's the wimps?
We're all these handsome, that's for sure.
We're all handsome.
Yeah, it has to
be. But because I feel like in America, like for me, I know this is probably not true most places, and I'm probably gonna get in trouble for saying this, but if you're a fan of soccer, I just automatically assume you're not as tough as me. I just automatically assume I could beat you in a fight.
I like soccer, bro.
do they have one of those situations in Australia where it's like, I feel like rugby's the tough guy, right? Like rugby guys eat nails for breakfast, right?
Not where we are.
Not where you are.
Boys.
Okay.
Rugby's more of a Sydney.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what subsect of Australia are you guys?
Subsect.
You call it that? What nation?
Category.
What nation in Europe do you guys live in?
Well, ironically, Luke is in Europe right now. Literally.
Oh, no way.
Yeah.
Is that it's giving a hotel, Luke?
This is big hotel vibes, man.
Okay.
Australia's in Europe, right?
Yeah, same thing.
Yeah, Australia's Europe.
100%. So, without further ado, we do have, believe it or not, we do have actual football things to get to. First and foremost, I want to give a special shout out to I want to make sure I can say that word. Dagger Drib, Skull Baby, Bengals suck. Okay, so we have our first passionate fan of the day. I love the photo. I think that's like a anime guy or like a cartoon guy.
That looks Mortal Kombat-esque.
Vikings fans
right?
hate Bengals?
I don't know what that's about. I don't know why Vikings fans and Bengals fans are beefing.
That's got everything to do with me, I guarantee.
Luke is a Bengals fan, yeah.
Okay.
That's got to be what it is. Well, Luke, you're bringing in a new little corner of the Australian internet. And Titan Maximum really spoiling the intro here. Josh VP, I wonder what he means. We'll probably get to that later. So Luke, you're a Bengals fan.
Yes, sir.
Cool, man. You know what? I'm one of those people who hates the Bengals because they're good.
Thanks, man. Everyone can beat us. That's the problem. We're like, it's just a fun team to watch, I think. But yeah, I'm so sad most of the time watching the games.
How'd you talk to me about this season? Like, give me like your high-minded thoughts on this season.
We're good against the good teams and bad against the bad teams. That was like the way I thought about it from minute one. When we lost to the Patriots week 1.
Yeah.
That was like that set the season. Then like next week we're down or we're up against KC the whole game.
Yeah.
And we lose to a PI. Like
I do. I think you nailed it. I think the Bengals proved this past year that they could beat anyone and they could lose to anyone. That is exactly who they were.
Big time.
And we also have poor losers. We also have John Bezos saying he thought Joe was the true MVP. There's a conversation to be had there. Was Joe was a nom? He was a nom.
Yeah, he was.
Was he?
Yeah.
Worthy of
Yeah,
being
he was
a
a
nom.
candidate for MVP, OP, like Offensive Player of the Year, all that stuff.
He won comeback player of the year, though, right?
Yeah, he did.
So let's maybe take Adrian. Let's maybe take a holistic approach at these NFL honors. Do we want to go one at a time and round table it? Talk about what we thought.
I come prepared.
He comes prepared.
As I always do.
That's my guy, man.
Oh yeah.
That's my guy.
There
we
go.
We can work through them, or we can.
We're gonna work backwards. All right. I think we should
Where
work backwards because there's a lot of this is cool as hell. I feel like they're on the show with us. First and foremost, we have D's Nuts 23. Raiders Nation. We know we suck and we embrace it. Shout out to I love the confidence that D's Nuts has to make that his username. That's just
You know
confident
we
dude.
suck and we embrace it.
23rd got to do it. 23rd got to do
Good
it.
for D's Nuts, man.
Raiders Nation, I think you guys will have brighter days in the future. They might be a trendy offseason darling pick. Jimmy, I might just assign them to you. You can just have them now.
I'll take it.
I just shook my head.
Baby.
It has.
Without further ado, we're gonna go round table. Anybody who has any strong thoughts on any of these, we'll start with Arik Armstead winning Walter Payton Man of the Year award, which is awesome. Congrats to Arik Armstead. Anybody have any thoughts on that?
There's so there's not much to say on the Walter Payton Man. Yeah, to be honest, he's there because of symmetry. Otherwise, it's a good award and it's a great award. And they really should push it the way they do. But as far as analysis goes, I don't really have much to add. It's a symmetry ad.
Yep.
Sorry.
Love
Arik.
to see people doing good. Shout out to Arik Armstead for being a good dude and kind of a hard name to say 3 times fast.
I get that.
I give it a try, all of you. I'm serious.
Arik
Armstead.
See what I'm saying? It's not easy.
Fine. I just did good. Yeah.
No, it was bad. We're gonna run
Roll
the
it back. Roll it back.
Roll the tape back. I'd like to chime in with our first point on Coach of the Year, Kevin O'Connell. I thought it was well deserved. I thought that leading that team, losing McCarthy before the season to a 14-3 record with Sam Darnold at the helm, who we saw sort of pumpkin in the playoffs and really down the stretch of the season. I think what he did as a coach is nothing short of exceptional.
So I agree with you on this. All right. And Kevin O'Connell, I don't know if he was the favorite or second favorite, but the only thing I will say is kind of like for the pieces he had and what he's done with that team, it's outstanding. But if I were to pick a coach that I think has done more in situations where they've lost a lot of people, to me, Dan Campbell was that guy. And I feel like, Kevin O'Connell, absolutely, we all expected the Vikings to suck this year. I bet them the under on 5.5 wins. But yeah, well, that's the Packer
so
fan in me.
disrespectful.
Yeah,
Wow.
Yeah, but you know what? We all thought it. We were like, Sam
Are
Darnold.
you
kidding me? So I'll admit that he's done a lot with a little, but I just feel like Dan Campbell at some point deserves the fact that he's turned it, and respectfully to our producer Anthony Wayne, have turned a bit of a joke of a franchise around after how many years, and he's done it in such quick and amazing fashion. Dan Quinn taking a rookie to nearly to the Super Bowl. I don't know. I understand the honors get voted on before the playoffs, and I get that factors in. But I would have probably gone Dan Campbell.
And shout out to John here. Dan Quinn was he wasn't my pick, but you guys know how I felt about the Dan Quinn hiring at the time and how it aged. It really truly aged like blue cheese. It molded, but it was better in its new form. Did I cook or was that terrible?
That was fantastic.
You always
I
cook.
like that.
Thanks, guys.
I wanted to add Sean McDermott in there.
Is he? He knows, right, Adrian? He knows I'm a Bills fan. Is this?
I didn't
That's
actually know that, but I was going to say how much they lost in the off season. Like I expected them to be no good. I mean, you got the guy there, but they did real good.
I couldn't say it. I couldn't say it because I'd be biased. I'm saving my homerism for a little later, but I agree. He should have got a nom. He should have got a nom.
They just did too good with ultimately not that much. They just were great with the schemes.
Soft reset, and they went to the AFC Championship game.
Yeah.
Credit where it's due.
I'll give Bills this. You know how like every team, every game, every interview is like, no one believed in us. The Bills are the only ones that I would be like, all right, I get it. That's fine. Maybe the Vikings.
Yeah.
But like when the Chiefs inevitably win the Super Bowl and say no one believed in us, stop it. Miss me with that.
Yeah, silly. Yeah.
I'm not looking forward to it, but we'll get to that. Jimmy, thoughts on Coach of the Year?
Yeah, my mind kind of goes to like exceeding expectations, and I feel like the Vikings did that more than any other team on there, or the Commanders, honestly. So I think the Dan Quinn's kind of my second pick, just because of the rookie quarterback and stuff. I know the Lions lost a lot on the defensive side of the ball, even the offense a little bit. But they still have Jared Goff. They still had a lot of their star players. Vikings don't have a lot of star players. And J.J. McCarthy, Sam Darnold was like a crazy quarterback competition. Going into the season, J.J. McCarthy got injured. Sam Darnold, we have never seen him play like that ever.
Yeah.
He was able to do that. Their defense played amazingly. They obviously have weapons, but 14-3 record for the Vikings would have been a joke before the season.
Pretty remarkable. Hi, Dad.
Representing.
Next up on the list, we have comeback player of the year, Joe Burrow. And Luke, I'm going to let you cook on this one. But before you do, I'm going to say we've learned in past years that once playing for the Jets is worse than dying and coming back to life. So I thought Darnold was going to win this. But apparently not this year. Apparently this year, admittedly, deservedly so, homie couldn't even pick up a ball on the sidelines. We saw that last year, and that was hard to watch. I'm sure Bengals fans were holding their breath, and he came back and didn't have the best start to the season, but he looks like he was statistically the best quarterback in football, and he looks like one of the best throwers of the ball that we have in the game at the time. So deserved comeback player of the year. Luke, take it away.
I was just so happy. I got a little bit sad that he won this award because it's like to me this is like not a bad player award, but like the J.K. Dobbins, like you're just below elite tier, kind of get this award.
Yeah,
and then we're kind of throwing this guy who was arguably an MVP talk, saying comeback player of the year. He's always been good. He's always been since minute one. Funnily enough, somebody in these comments I know said that he's pretty much done for because of that little hand injury.
Yeah, that it didn't look good, man. He couldn't grip a football.
It didn't, but it was just it was too good to be true. He's who he is. He's an animal.
Definitely.
So I love that he won it, but I'm a bit sad that he didn't win. He wasn't close to the MVP. Like
naturally, right?
It
all comes with time, Luke, and you and I are not in two different positions as fans, given that your team's been in the Super Bowl, and that's kind of just at this point almost a consolation prize. Like, we're all just nipping at Mahomes' ankles for the time being. So take what you can get. Truly, like we'll talk about Allen's MVP in a little bit, but take what you can get, man. The moments where you can smile and be happy about something, even if it's not quite what you hoped for, it's definitely still worth taking solace in.
I think he said it in his speech. It was like he keeps getting all these injuries, so he's always kind of coming back along those kind of lines. And he said it perfectly there. He said it perfectly in his speech. It's
true, and he hasn't been knocked down or defined by any of the haymakers he's received yet. So just hang 10 and just know he'll as long as he's around, he'll keep them in the fight. Jimmy and Adrian, anything to say on Burrow before we plug on?
I'll just say the fact that he had such a good season. Like if the defense would have helped him out just a little bit more, if their record was a little bit better, the MVP race would have been, it was already elite with the two quarterbacks we had, but throwing in Joe Burrow there with his stats and how he played throughout the season, he would have been up for all those awards. But
Definitely.
At the end of the day, I'm glad he got an award, but there were a lot of good players and stuff, so it makes like the other 2 awards, like Offensive Player of the Year, MVP. Obviously, in my opinion, they had to go to somebody else.
Right.
But I'm glad he got that award. But Sam Darnold was right up there as well in terms of
Played for the
comeback
Jets.
Player of the Year, just from coming back from from playing for the Jets. DeMar Hamlin was on there too, so I'm sure Adrian could talk about that too.
DeMar Hamlin, my boy.
Prayers up.
I'm sorry, but hold on. Can I get a bit controversial? This is Sam Darnold's award. Sam Darnold was like we were career backup at best. That was like his ceiling in everyone's mind, and he came and led a team to a 14-3. Now, if they didn't tank in the playoffs, but these votes happened before the playoffs, everyone was expecting him to be a contender. Dan Campbell's like, "I'll see you in 2 weeks' time." I think this is Sam Darnold's award to lose, and he did lose. And respectfully to Joe Burrow, it's because he put up such good numbers they had to give him something.
Yeah, honestly,
MVP. They couldn't give him OPOY, so they had to give him something. That's it.
Yeah,
Didn't they change the idea of the award though?
They did, and they said it.
I don't know why Sam Darnold was there.
They said specifically they wanted it to be injury related, not just
So it's like a pity award.
External forces.
Yeah, like the Joe Flacco, DeMar Hamlin thing.
But if that were the case, right, then we DeMar Hamlin is owed a retroactive trophy because he didn't play for the Jets. He died. So
you would never give up on that DeMar Hamlin take. That hill.
I was pretty shocked.
Right?
I was pretty shocked.
It's true, but it's true. He died on the field, and he's back. Look at him.
Yeah, we had a pretty iconic, legit episode where we talked about we compared, like we did like an ESPN side by side comparison, like DeMar Hamlin with Jesus Christ, and like the only thing is Jesus never ran a fake punt in a playoff game. That's the only difference.
Jesus.
Anyways, sorry, this is very inappropriate. I apologize if you're offended. It's humor. Ladies and gentlemen, Defensive Player of the Year, PS2. Let's talk about PS2. Jimmy and Aid, you got any hot takes on the PS2 DPOY?
In the interest of time, I'm going to say we predicted this and go back and watch the tape on our previous shows. But he was just awesome. He's such a lockdown corner. I know. I think did he miss a game or two, if I'm not wrong? But he was like you couldn't throw to his side of the field. Yeah,
he was really on the level of prime. I think we did talk about this. He was on the level of prime, like Revis, Asamoah. You can't throw to that side of the field. That's a great way to put it, Adrian.
Yeah, nothing else to add though.
Quick one. Anything?
No, he deserved it.
Yeah, I mean, he's the third cornerback, I believe.
Wait a minute, Adrian.
Oh,
do you hear that music? Hold on. Wait a minute. That's Brian McFadden's music.
Wait.
Go.
There he is.
What's up, gents?
The king gets an entrance, right?
Oh, naturally. Come on.
Is there a fifth? Is there a fifth spot, Adrian, or is Luke?
I'm gonna have to get rid of the honors. Hold on.
Get rid of the honors.
The honors are going.
The honors. We all know who won what.
Where's Adrian at?
Did I miss the honors? The honors are done.
We're wrapping them up, Brian. We want to get to the game preview because we know you've been percolating. But ladies and gentlemen, for those who don't know, this is Legit Football's co-founder, Brian McFadden, Money Mac, and we are honored to have him once again for our Super Bowl preview show. The last time we saw Brian, he was ripping my heart out of my chest, telling me the Chiefs were going to beat the Bills, and he wasn't wrong.
AKA correctly predicting the conference championship winners. Just saying.
And he wasn't wrong. D's Nuts says, "See you, Luke. Luke's still here, brother. You can't get rid of him that easy." Brian, we have another Australian, and apparently they're all this handsome, is what we're learning.
Hey, congrats! You're getting an NFL game, guys.
It's part of the news rundown that we're not going to get to because we're
legit business trip to Australia in 2020.
100%. I'll put it in the budget of zero that we have. I'll find a way.
All right, Brian, we just got to the top row. Defensive Rookie of the Year, Jared Verse, and well-deserved, right?
Yeah.
Anybody got anything to say about that? Somehow the Rams keep striking gold on the D-line.
I will add that, did you guys go over the Legit Football Awards voted on by our readers?
We did that on last week's episode.
This is very close. So
very similar.
They had Saquon as the MVP, but Offensive Player of the Year. Jaden for Offensive Rookie of the Year. We had Jared Verse. Patrick Surtain won Defensive Player of the Year. So the fans know what they're doing.
Not bad. Not bad. Offensive Rookie of the Year. That's the first award where, of the top row, where you could have maybe had a case for another player, but Jaden Daniels was just so far and away a smash success. And it was so exciting to see him break out the way he did. I think he's pushing tier 1. Anybody got anything to say about that?
I'll echo my thoughts of last week's show. I believe, like, yeah, he absolutely should be. Yeah, and he deserves this. Ice in his veins as a rookie. He's been awesome. But Brock Bowers has been hidden away, like covered by the dust that is the Raiders, breaking rookie tight end records all season. So he deserves absolutely a mention here because he had an unbelievable season. He was just buried in a crappy team.
Yeah, Brock, like tight ends and stuff, they have like kind of an uphill battle, especially against like a quarterback like that. But yeah, NFL honors, it kind of tells the story of the season. And Jaden Daniels, you have to have a Commanders player in here somewhere, right? In some capacity. And Jaden Daniels is that guy. So
I get that Brock gets the kudos, but the difference of position, I mean, the Raiders won what, 4 games, 5 games? So as great as he was, I mean, Jaden took the Washington to the playoffs for the first time in the conference championship since what, like 20 years?
Yep.
You can't compare the two.
And that's the thing. He, like I say, he deserves to be there. And I won't argue that Brock Bowers should have won, but I want to give him some flowers because I feel like if you're an individual rookie at their position performing far and above what most people do at that level, I just feel like Brock Bowers deserves a mention, if nothing else.
And while we're throwing flowers, let's also throw some Bo Nix's way, who in a normal season might have a shot at contending for this award. Had his team in the playoffs, put up good numbers along the way. Just Jaden Daniels is that guy. Jaden Daniels is him. So
Wade Neighbors started the season, right? Everybody's like, "Oh, this guy's going to run away with it. He might get MVP," because he was catching 12 passes a game to start the season.
Yeah, Malik got 5th. Brian Thomas got 4th.
Crazy. Brian Thomas too. What a class.
Yeah, great class.
What a class.
Bucky's still there. Bucky's 6th. I mean,
those LSU guys.
Yeah, absolutely, dude.
So 2 more awards to get to. Offensive Player of the Year award. It went to Saquon Barkley, who had over 2,000 rushing yards. Could have broken the single season rushing record. He played in the last game of the season. It felt like every single week. Brian, we talked about it last week. Free money is betting on Saquon's over for his longest rush of the game. We'll see about
it. We hit that on the first play of the game in the conference championship.
Hashtag bet Brian's mortgage.
That's right. That's I still got my mortgage, and you guys won some money.
So deserved, and it is tough to see a Triple Crown winner not get this award, and to see the season that Lamar Jackson had go home empty-handed. Both absolute travesties, but there can only be one. That's the nature of these awards. Luke, this was a home run pick, right?
No.
Oh, Bengals fan.
To a Bengals fan. I don't know, man. Like, it's not easy to do, get Triple Crown. It's not easy to be that guy. Especially, we were down every game. I get it. But
missed
that
games
offense,
too.
and that offense would have done not as good without Saquon. Obviously, he's unbelievable. John Beazer straight away with the here we go.
Yeah, I get the sense that John wants to poke a little bit of fun at Luke, and I'm very, very here for the dynamic.
Look, I can't deny that he deserves it for like. If there was ever a time to maybe split it, give it 50-50.
OPOY.
Yeah, why not? Why not? If there was ever a time.
Yeah, and Jimmy, how about you, man? What are your thoughts on this?
Yeah, it's a very tough decision when you have a 2,000-yard rusher. That rarely happens. I think that's like the 9th time, and then you have a Triple Crown winner. That's I think that's a little more rare. So I think you could maybe argue from that standpoint, but it was Saquon's at the end of the day. I think it majority reason was because of the team record. I think that's what it comes down to. We see a lot of question marks around the voters and who's voting and stuff like that recently, but it makes sense for Saquon to be that guy up there. But I wish you could have like co-offensive player of the year awards like we did in 2003 with the MVP. I mean, why did they stop that? Was there some sort of controversy with that? I'm sure.
How about positional, right? Running back of the year, wide receiver of the year, tight end. We could have given Brock Bowers an actual award if they had positional.
Yep.
Exactly. Like the NCAA.
Yeah. I like that.
Yeah, and I said this as kind of a throwaway point, but like really one of the biggest travesties of the honors last night, and not for me, but one of the biggest travesties is that Lamar Jackson is going to have this historic season, and there's not going to be any hardware to show for it, and that is what it is, right? Like, I think he had a case for Offensive Player of the Year, and given the nature of the last award we'll talk about, and I'll take it away because I had grown man tears again last night. It's the third or fourth time the Bills have done that to me this season. 3 of them were good, and then there was
we're out of time. Can we move on to the next topic? Sorry.
Is there another award?
This guy, we got a comedian,
something, man.
We got a comedian over
broken.
here. No, you guys. JA17, Josh Allen, with his first NFL MVP award, and Brian, you said it on the AFC Championship preview, and I've been saying it all year. I think he's very deserving of this award. And it's weird because there have been years where he had the stats but not the hardware. This year it's kind of reversed. Like truly, Lamar's statistics are on paper better, but the impact that Josh Allen has on his team, on the field, with those guys, the leader that he is, the warrior that he is, I just don't think there was any way anyone else in good faith could have won this award this year, despite how special MV3 was.
I think there are voters who voted because Lamar got it last year and he won one before and Josh hadn't won one yet. We've got to be honest. I mean, because like
voter
you said,
fatigue.
And well, it's not even fatigue, the narratives. Oh, let's have a different MVP this year kind of thing. I think that's like the human bias behind it.
Yeah.
And I wanted Josh to win. So this isn't a knock against Josh. Somebody, I don't know how deep you guys got in the weeds, somebody voted Lamar 4th. And that was one of the closest MVP races. Oh, Luke was the guy. We found him right here. He voted.
Not a Lamar guy. Whoa,
but I'm
Bengals fan. I get it.
Okay, fair. But so I mean, in one of the closest MVP races in recent memory, and it's ranked order, like putting somebody 4th. How do you put Lamar 4th? We can say Josh Allen should have won, sure, but who puts Lamar Jackson after the season he just had 4th in the MVP race?
A bit disingenuous.
You could argue. I could accept 3rd if you want to argue Saquon in the MVP spot.
Right.
If you want to argue that,
agreed.
But I
They
can't
put Burrow ahead. Oh, Luke will like this. They put Burrow at 3. Lamar at 4. Yeah, I'm sure.
Burrow was
like,
so special.
What's the problem?
If team success followed, Burrow this would have been a shoo-in for him.
I think it's based on what they do for what they do for their team. So Josh Allen fit perfectly. Without him, that team's going nowhere. Whereas in Baltimore, if you want to put, let's say you put Josh Allen in Baltimore, they're winning the Super Bowl. It's as simple as that. Like
Did they have 9 All-Pros?
Something like that.
Buffalo had 1.
Yeah.
And he was second team.
He was so salty about that.
They're 14-3. They were the 2 seed, and they had 1 All-Pro.
I'm sure he's fine now. Like, give him the MVP over the All-Pro. Nope.
It's objectively a consolation prize, but I will take it.
Better than 0 prizes.
0 prizes. Jimmy, before we wrap this up, you called it on our preview show before the season. You said Josh Allen was going to win the MVP. And I said, Jimmy, why is Josh Allen going to win the MVP? And you said, and I quote, Josh Allen.
Expert analysis.
Josh Allen. I mean,
does that not sound like Jimmy?
It 100% does. No, but yeah, he obviously balled out this year. A couple of weeks ago, I thought it was a shoo-in for Lamar, honestly, based off of kind of the narrative that I was going towards. And once we saw, I think it was mainly because of the All-Pro voting, is why I thought Lamar was going to end up with the MVP. So this kind of raises a lot of just reasons why people win the MVP, like certain ways people think, like Dan Orlovsky, why he voted Lamar as the AP first team All-Pro and then voted Josh Allen as the MVP. Those are 2 different awards, obviously, but that was the 3rd time it's ever happened. So it raises a lot of question marks as who should win MVP, why should they win MVP. It's very interesting. I think it could have gone both ways, and I was okay with it going both ways, to be honest. But I love seeing Josh Allen get his MVP, and I told people, I was like, Josh Allen he deserves an MVP in some capacity. But if Lamar would have won his 3rd one, I was like, yeah, dude, he statistically had the better season than Josh Allen, so I wouldn't blame them for voting that way. But this opens a lot of people's minds on the MVP voting, so it's very interesting.
Definitely,
a lot of arguments.
I had accepted that Lamar was going to steal it. To be honest with you, tough one. It was a tough pill. I actually, when Lamar's odds were still good, I put a material amount of money to hedge emotionally. So I am out $50.
Rent money? It's not rent money.
That's
okay,
$50 you've ever spent, right, Kev?
We love an emotional hedge over here. That's great. That's so awesome. Wow.
That was so loud.
I hope you found a place in LA for $50 a month. Don't move.
I have a cardboard box. That's great. Ladies and gentlemen, that is our show. Thanks for coming. No, there's stuff to get to. There's a game being played on Sunday, I'm being told. We have the Kansas City Chiefs, the Philadelphia Eagles in New Orleans. The Chiefs, last time I checked, 1.5-point favorites. Now, I'm going to give this honor of kicking this off to Brian McFadden because I'm not sure if you guys have ever experienced a Money Mac comprehensive breakdown, but it is truly, truly a sight to behold. So, Brian, without further ado, please take it away.
Chiefs win. That's my analysis. After you set me up so nicely.
Yeah.
I'm going to start with boring basic analysis, but it was the same stuff I used 2 weeks ago, and it's the same stuff I've been using for years. You know my stance, but there's actual stats that I'm going to pull to back this up. I'm not going to bet against Mahomes, Kelsey, and Reed in a playoff game situation. They have won, what is it? I think 7 or 8 straight, like one score, or no, they're 17-0 in their last one score games. 17-0 in their last 17 one-score games. Now, some people might say it's fluky, regression to the mean, they're due to lose. You don't get that many in a row unless you know how to close, unless you know how to win. It doesn't matter if they're down in the Super Bowl. They literally aren't phased in the slightest. They have plans for that. But even deeper than that, the way they match up actually is an advantage KC, regardless of all the Mahomes heroics. They're one of the best run defenses in the NFL. And if it comes down, and this is the same analysis I gave in the Washington NFC Championship game, if they can force it to be one-dimensional and make Hurts be the one to beat him, and granted, Hurts had a great game, best game maybe of the season for him, but still, this Chiefs defense under Spagnuolo is a whole different animal than what Washington was rolling out, even though they overperformed. If they can slow down Saquon has like a 4.5 yard per carry in the first half and 6.8 in the second half. That's because they've got big leads and he's wearing down defenses. But what if Philadelphia has to come from behind? You know, Reed is going to script up the genius first 15 plays. You know, they're probably going to go down the score on that first drive. If they can shut Philly down on Philly's first drive, suddenly they've got a 7-0 lead. Mahomes playing small ball because Fangio doesn't like to give up deep plays. So now you've got like 7-minute drive for the Chiefs. Maybe they kick a field goal. Now they're up 10-0. Maybe the first quarter is done. And suddenly Philly starts feeling that pressure. So unless they get another 60-yard run from Saquon on the first carry like they did against Washington, they're going to start feeling the pressure of Hurts having to carry it. Now, the last time Hurts played the Chiefs in the Super Bowl, we could all say probably the best game of his career. So I'm not saying he's not capable of it. But even that wasn't enough. The Chiefs still won that game. Hurts played out of his freaking mind, and KC was the one who was there when the confetti came down. So Reed or Fangio, 0-8 against Mahomes as an assistant, as a head coach. So everybody can say Fangio's having a great year. And it has. Philadelphia's been one of the best defenses in the entire NFL. He has not yet beat Patrick Mahomes. Andy Reid, you know how he's got 2 weeks to prepare. They've been cooking stuff up all year. I guarantee we haven't seen yet. Remember last time the Eagles with that Kadarius Toney play? They literally scored twice on it. The Eagles just had no answers. I know that was before Fangio, but these are the kind of things that Casey's been setting up all year. So you know that they're going to score early. Chris Jones, unless he leaves the game and gets injured or something, he's that X factor, not just to get to Hurts and force Hurts to play on the run, which, by the way, people think, oh, he's a great scrambler. He actually hasn't been that good on the run and scrambling outside of the pocket. His best passing has actually been inside of the pocket. Chris Jones at the middle can disrupt that, and Chris Jones can also slow down that running game. So same analysis as last time. Philadelphia needs to get out to a lead so that they can really lean on Saquon if they become too one-dimensional. And also, twitch push. Look what the Chiefs did to the Bills. You can say maybe he got it here and there, but still, the Chiefs shut down a number of those 6'5", 245 Josh Allen rushes. That secret trick, that piece of ammo is now out the back. So I know we might have waited to make our picks, but I'm not going to be suspenseful. I'm picking the Chiefs.
Absolutely. Now, I think, to be fair, that was just unbelievable. Let's all just round of applause. Brian did what he does. Let McFadden cook. But this is Luke's first ever appearance. Adrian, that was so graphic.
It took me a while to get to it.
This is Luke's first ever legit football podcast. So I think the first response should go to Luke.
Oh, you're not going to like it. I hope both teams lose, if I'm dead honest with you.
Can we have a 0-0 tie?
Don't we all? Don't we all?
I mean, it's Mahomes to lose. But if there's a team that can do it and the way they've been playing, you can always back the underdog in Philly. But again, I don't know how he keeps doing it, but they keep winning it, and it's like hard to pick it against them. It's hard to say that they're going to lose because, but I don't know. I just don't think they're going to lose. There's nothing to say.
Can I tell you, Luke? I've been in Kevin and Jimmy will back me up here. Every week of this season, I'm like, this is the week.
Literally.
Clown makeup, I'm putting it on. This is the week. Mahomes is going to lose.
Every week.
Yeah. And every week, I don't know where
I'm the same. I'm like I'm Mahomes hater. I'm a big Mahomes hater.
This is my theme music at the carnival.
Absolutely.
Entertaining kids, shooting water out of my little flower. That's what it is. And you know what? I feel you on that because the hard part, like Brian doesn't. I'm not just bragging because Brian's the founder of Legit Football. He breaks it down, and you will never see another breakdown like that. But there's something about the Chiefs that you just can't explain, and I don't know what it is. It really, at the end of the day, it's preparation. What kind of Brian talked about, where we see these runs, these plays come in that we haven't seen all season against the Bills. All of a sudden, Mahomes is running with the ball, and where do they come from? Hadn't seen them all season. He did it. He had designed runs when he was playing injured last Super Bowl. So Andy Reid's got time to cook. He also has Vic Fangio's number, just like Mahomes has. And the other part is where I see kind of the weakness here. And sorry, I'm taking Luke's spotlight. Luke, I hope anyone knows. I have to work something.
I think Luke's analysis was pretty spot on. Just
It was. It's
Mahomes to lose.
X factor.
What else is there to say?
You can't quantify Mahomes factor, right? But Jalen Hurts, on the other hand, has not been great against the blitz, particularly hasn't been great against the zone blitz. Guess who blitzes in zone a lot? Steve Spagnuolo. Guess who, if I can look up those sort of stats, guess who's also probably got better access to technology? Steve Spagnuolo. So the Jalen Hurts has been holding the ball, and what he did really good against the Commanders is he had the ball out quick, right? But Steve Spags is going to send these blitzes, these exotic blitzes, like we talked, not to rub salt.
Kevin,
they were. He put that blitz on the last play of the Bills game where the corners were the one that brought pressure. Sorry. So I would expect a lot of exotic blitzes. I'd expect Jalen Hurts to be very uncomfortable. And I think to Brian's point, if you can hold Saquon, and when I say hold Saquon, you can still bet rushing yards above 70, you're probably safe. I don't mean hold Saquon where he's like, 10 carries for 16 yards. I'm talking keep him under 100.
He's going to get chunks. Yep.
For sure.
I think AJ's going to be a big factor. I think AJ's going to be a big factor this game.
How do you figure? You don't think he'll get shut down?
No, well, if they play, I mean, if there's going to be a blitz, ultimately there's going to be a bit of man coverage. And I think that AJ in man coverage is fine. Like there's maybe 2 or 3 people that can stop him. Thankfully, no one in this game. And if they're going to rush Hurts, he's just going to lob it long and hope for the best. And I guess if there's one person that can get there, it's that 6'4" monster. Like that's a thing that I think is going to help him. And that'll push the ball downfield quick when they need it. It'll just be, let's hope it wasn't a week 1 or week 2 of playoffs where he gets a couple of targets and no catches. That'll be an issue. But I think that's the guy. If there's no Saquon, it's him. It's simple.
I actually agree with Luke. Now, it would not be fair for us to just all go around and say how the Chiefs are going to win. What are we going to do? Let's make the case for a Philadelphia victory. And I do think that A.J. Brown is probably the key to that. Him and Jalen Carter on the other side, who, by the way, I know he practiced in full, but he's had like laryngitis or something. Like nobody's a little worried about that. But anyway, if there's, and first of all, shout out to Armand. I did see your comment. OG, nice to see you in the chat. Wanted to make a point to point out our boy Armand. Because if the Chiefs are going to do what they do, and they are, Spagnuolo, like Adrian says, is going to have stuff cooked up, and it's going to have to rely on Hurts. You got to get a game record like A.J. Brown involved. You've got to get a guy that, and Trent McDuffie has been fantastic, and I'm sure he'll match up against, but he's still A.J. Brown. He can outmuscle him, he can outsize him. He's a great route runner. He's great after the catch. He's great at the catch point in contested catch situations. And if you're going to need to beat them, it's going to be through the air. Unless Saquon is just going to beat one of the best rushing defenses, which is certainly possible, I think A.J. Brown is going to be the key. Can he make big plays down the field when Chiefs are focused on stopping Saquon? Can A.J. be the one to step up? That, I think, is going to be the key to a possible Philadelphia victory.
Jimmy, you've been over there stewing and brewing. Let it rip, man. What do you got for us? NFL stats.
I love it. Yeah, man. I mean, you can look at the stats all you want. And you can make the case for either side for both of these teams. Both of these teams have phenomenal stories. They have phenomenal stats. They've played phenomenally. I mean, that's why they're in the Super Bowl, right? And I think a lot of people are like, it's fun to pick the Eagles. It's very fun to pick the Eagles because a lot of those players have not won a Super Bowl before. It's been a relatively long time for the Eagles. Basically a new team, except for a few players. But and we'll just go into their roster a little bit. The Eagles defense, I mean, we've seen Quinyon Mitchell, Cooper DeJean come and ball out since week 6, since Cooper DeJean got that starting role. They've been phenomenal in terms of yards per target allowed. They've been the best in the NFL. Yards per game allowed in terms of pass yards per game. They've been awesome. They've really stepped up a lot of the young defensive players. I mean, they've Jalen Carter, baller. Nolan Smith, he's come out of the woodworks and provided some great pressures on the outside. You guys remember Bryce Huff at all on the Eagles? I sure don't, because Nolan Smith came out and balled out. So there's a lot of young talent on the Eagles defense that I haven't even probably said that I'm just rambling, and there's so many players. But Patrick Mahomes, I said Josh Allen earlier. Patrick Mahomes. I mean, you can't fight that. I mean, like Brian said, Patrick Mahomes comes up on third down. He'll get that first down almost every single time. He has a 90 QBR, which is the best in the NFL in terms of third down play, and that's huge. Travis Kelce, he'll play in the playoffs. Obviously, like the Eagles have so many. Like they're better at running back. You could say they're better statistically at some defensive positions. But the Chiefs have Chris Jones trying to stop the run. They have Jalen Watson even on the outside corner. He's been playing ever since he got injured. He came back for the postseason, and he hasn't allowed a lot. Like doesn't even get past 2 in the postseason. Like a handful of targets. He's allowed like 8 total yards. I mean, so he could be that guy to stop AJ Brown. He could be that guy. So it'll be tough if the ball is in Jalen Hurts' hands. There's a lot of question marks. If the ball is in Patrick Mahomes' hands, there's a guarantee that that's going to happen. You know what I mean? So it's tough. You could pick either way because we've seen the Chiefs lose in the Super Bowl before, but it's been a long time. It's been a long time since we've seen anything like that. So it's hard to imagine.
Yeah. It is truly an AFC fan, and the 4 of us, sorry, Adrian, you're over there on your own island in the NFC, but the 4 of us can speak on the tradition of being an AFC fan and hate watching the Chiefs in the Super Bowl. It's a tried and true tradition for myself, and I think I can speak for all of us when I say that, which is why I'm wearing green.
Luke's conquered.
Kev, I kind of want to see history. Are we as nobody like the first ever Super Bowl winner 3 times in a row? Like as an NFL fan, Kev's dying. I think I killed him.
I can't hear that.
I was hoping you'd say the first ever draw and they just canceled the game and nobody wins.
Bro,
but hey, Kev, after this, the Chiefs can stop going. Let's see the first. We want to witness history, boys, and then they can go away.
I'm with you.
Kelsey can retire and propose to Swift, and then we're good. 4
in a row. In the 90s, if that record gets touched and Jim Kelly and Pat Mahomes have to share that, I won't be okay. So that's next year. That's a problem for next year.
That was a different kind of 4 in a row, Kev. I don't think you want to bring that up. That's going to be hurtful for you.
It's still a record. It's a gross record. It's still a record. Only team to ever do it. I want to go back to something Brian said, and I think it was really something that we would be remiss to not touch on. And he talked about the case for Philadelphia winning. I haven't made up my mind about who I'm going to pick. I'm probably going to flip a coin. I'll ask Siri to flip a coin when we get close to the picks, and I'll use that. But the case for Philly winning, and I think we talked about AJ Brown, D's Nuts, just great commenter. We appreciate you a lot, D's Nuts, for being here. D's Nuts talked about
Devontae Smith. I mean, classic name.
I told him he's confident. He's a confident guy.
You don't have to.
That's a confident guy. Devontae Smith in the slot is pretty big. If they isolate him in the slot, Trent McDuffie's a great slot corner though, so I don't know how much I really have too much faith in that. What was almost the key for Buffalo upsetting the Chiefs 2 weeks ago was the performance of Baby Cook. And Baby Cook, however amazing he is not Saquon Barkley. Philly's rushing offense has been historic. Kansas City's run defense has been great. However, going into the Bills game, Brian, you'll recall they were slumping, and I pointed that out. I saw that's a matchup that could be exploited. Buffalo's O-line is great. KC's running defense has been on the downturn. They didn't have a good week against the Bills. And we're here now 2 weeks later against maybe a running back having one of the greatest running back seasons in the history of the NFL. So there's some math there that is mathing, in my opinion, for Saquon to go a little bit haywire. It's his birthday, Narrative Street. Saquon Barkley's birthday will be played on, the Super Bowl will be played on Saquon Barkley's birthday. I think that
And Cooper's
matters. I don't know, guys. I think we're underselling the script for a Saquon Barkley statement Super Bowl where he just gallops into a Super Bowl title. Am I crazy?
Here's a question. Counter question. At least we'll open up the floor to that. Is don't you think Spagnuolo knows that? And I don't think they went into that game. I know that Buffalo didn't go into that game saying we have to shut down James Cook. That was just not even a consideration. Here, if you're going to do the Bill Belichick, pick your best player, take him down, it has to be Saquon. What is the difference between this Eagles team and last year, besides they've got different coaching staff? It is Saquon.
Every DC's had that thought, though. And nobody
Every DC's not Steve Spagnuolo with 2 weeks
fair.
to prepare in the Super Bowl.
Very fair. Very
Yeah.
fair. Yeah, and Chris Jones is a different animal. He's one of the I think him being in the same era as Aaron Donald really overshadowed his greatness. I think he's
agreed
one of the best DTs we've ever seen. I think does anybody have any other last minute loose ends that they want to tie up? Adrian, you look like you got something to say.
I've been hanging to make this stat because I think it's crazy. So what you just said then, and I agree, Steve Spags has time to cook and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
Saquon Barkley has more rush yards before contact this season than all but two of his seasons with the Giants total. So like he has over 1,000 yards before contact. Their O-line, if there's a case here for Eagles winning, to me, it is the O-line putting Saquon Barkley in situations where he can get into the secondary, get points on the board, keep it close, and then critically
can happen.
Have the ball at the end of the game. I feel like I'm rubbing salt constantly, and I am a little bit.
It's okay.
But have the ball at the end of the game and finish.
Rub it in.
And finish.
Rub it in.
Because the difference, and we talked about this last week, the difference with Patrick Mahomes and the Patrick Mahomes factor is if he's got the ball with 3 minutes to go and 3 points down, they're winning that game. There's no question. Like it's almost a foregone conclusion. The Eagles need the ball at the end of the game within less than one score, and they need to finish it out right on the buzzer. Basically, 13 seconds is too much. I'm done rubbing.
You had to throw the last one in there.
Why 13 seconds, Adrian?
Yeah,
why choose that very specific number? What could that mean?
What's that about?
I'm
You
just
freaking
add on
jerk.
to that is I like that Adrian brought that up. The Eagles have to have the ball last. You cannot let Mahomes be the one to have the ball last. And I want to mention a couple things. We keep saying it's the Mahomes factor. Here's what I think it is, guys. They fully believe they're going to win no matter what is going on. You cannot phase them. The Commanders had a young team as great as they played. Saquon ran 60 yards. They never recovered from that. First play. After that, what was it, like a 17-play drive to start the game? They only get a field goal. They're like, they're moving the ball against this Philly defense. Saquon takes the ball once. Nope. Sorry, guys. That's demoralizing. The Chiefs don't care. If he did that against KC, Mahomes, Kelsey, you think that's going to face him? They 100% believe in their bones that they're going to win at any time. So you have to not let Mahomes be in the situation where he can actually win it. I heard this stat today. I might not get it exactly right, but it was something like in the playoffs with less than a minute left and a chance to win the game, Mahomes 7 for 7. He has never actually lost when he has the ball against the Patriots in the AFC Championship game that one year. Brady win in overtime. They didn't get a chance to have the ball. When he has had a chance to win it, he has won it literally every single time. So like Adrian said, if you want a shot Eagles, you have to control the clock and be the ones with the ball last. Either you're running the clock out with the lead and letting Saquon bleed it, or you're the one driving down trying to score that game-winning score.
And I think a lot has to be said for what Brian's saying right now. And I think that a large part of that, and we talk about Mahomes factor, Reed factor, it's called greatness, right? That is what that is. And look, I'm a child of the drought era. So being playoff caliber and having a playoff pedigree as a Bills fan is great. It's a blessing. The Chiefs have championship pedigree. They have the Patriot way that used to make teams beat themselves every single week in front of our faces. This is greatness personified, and it nauseates me to say it. And there's probably a lot of other variables that go into it: ratings, Swifties, refs. Screw it. Put it all in a ball, throw it away. Patrick Mahomes, Travis Kelce, Chris Jones, Andy Reid, greatness. It is what it is. I think one last X and O point that hasn't been made yet, and I think we've teased on it, but I don't think we've ripped into it the way that I want to. There is a betting angle to this episode. I'd love for us all to pick a prop if you guys are down. Brian, we're gonna make a rule. You have to go against Saquon longest rush. It's free money. But I think there's something to be said, and Brian pointed it out. Hurts' best game of all time was the Super Bowl against the Chiefs. I think there's a game script where Philly is down and they're not out because maybe they find a way to use, like Luke brought up, maybe they find a way to utilize man beaters. Maybe Dallas Goedert gets going. We haven't even said his name. 52 minutes into our Super Bowl preview podcast. Dallas Goedert's been insane this year. He's been one of the best tight ends in football, weirdly enough. I mean, I personally had cast him aside and thought he was overrated, but he's been one of the best tight ends in football this year, and he's made a lot of big plays in the playoffs. Dallas Goedert could be a huge factor. Devontae Smith, AJ Brown, Jahan Dotson. I'll give you my prop early. His receiving yards total is 3.5. Go ahead, bet Kev's rent on he'll get 4 yards.
Watch, he gets a screen and he gets tackled after 2.
Right, but go ahead, Luke.
Oh no, so was I reading somewhere? We keep bringing up Devontae. Was he not questionable for this game? Was he not questionable for this game?
Came out today. He's questionable to play.
Yeah,
he'll
so
play.
There's like,
I do think he'll play. They've said that he'll play. Like I said, Jalen Carter was sick and missed multiple media appearances. But they've said that they're not expecting to miss any of their main guys.
Okay.
Yeah. So I think we have a prop and a pick each. I gave away my prop. I'll just go ahead and I'll make my pick really quick, just because I'm in the middle already, and Adrian has his whole the middle is the talker situation. To talk about an emotional hedge, I bet on the Chiefs to win the game. I put a material amount of money, not quite rent, but a material amount of money. And I parlayed it with a Saquon touchdown because why not? Saquon's going to score a touchdown, I think. It's a 3X. So if you want to go run to your local sports book, do it. I'm going to take the Chiefs. And I'm going to vomit after I get off the air. I think the Chiefs are going to win this game with some heroics and some greatness. 34-31.
I'm going to just warn the viewers to just block your ears for 2 seconds. That's it. It's way louder than I expected it to be.
By the way, that's so
It's like a party, dude.
Incredible.
All right, Brian, take it
There
away.
you go, Money Mac.
So you guys know my pick. I'll give a score. I'm not going to bet against the Chiefs. I do think it's going to be scoring. So I was a little low on my Chiefs Bills. So I will say, what was your score? 34-31, Kev? I don't want to copy you. All right. We'll say 30-27, I think. 5 points, Chiefs win. And my prop is, this is an if-then. If the Chiefs win, Kelce proposes to Swift in the end zone on the field.
I love it.
Confetti.
That's a fun prop. That's a fun prop.
For all you Swifties out, all the Swifties that read legit football and watch our podcast. Yeah.
Oh my God. I talk about
We are all Swifties. You're
That's
a Swiftie.
true. We are all Swifties at heart. Yeah.
Maybe the real
You.
The real Swifties were the ones we met along the way, It's the friendships we met along the way.
There you go. Very profound, Adrian.
Who's up next? Himmy?
I don't know. I guess so. Yeah, I was waiting.
You've been chosen.
Kevin, what was your prop? Did you give a prop?
I said Jahan Dotson 4 receiving yards.
Oh, you meant
Barkley
that.
to score a touchdown. I did actually.
Yeah. He's like, that was
okay.
serious.
He will
My
score.
bad.
He will
My
get
bad.
4 receiving yards. Because the Chiefs or the Eagles, I think, will be down enough that they'll have to throw it.
Yeah, that's fair. I'm gonna go the Chiefs. I'll hedge my emotions respectfully. I'll go 27-23 Chiefs. I think the Eagles will have the ball with some time left after the Chiefs go down the field and score to take over, and the Eagles will lose. I have one prop I'll give, and if I need to throw out a few more at the end, I will. But I have yes to a 2-point conversion. I think there's a lot of.
Ooh,
I have that as plus 240. I
That's
don't know
good
what it is
odds.
now.
That is good
but
odds.
in
That's,
this-
that's
yeah.
Don't listen to us. Bet whatever
Yeah.
we say. That's
Yeah,
a good one.
Yeah, I mean, in the Super Bowl, you're going to be getting every chance to get 2-point conversions, get that extra point, and there's so many analytics that tell you to go for 2, tell you to go for 4th down. So
And I don't have these stats in front of me, Jimmy, but these are 2 teams who like to go for 2. I know the Chiefs do for sure.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I think the
Yeah.
Eagles. I don't have the stats either, but I know the Eagles are one of the most aggressive, and I know the Chiefs are at the same time, and they both always get it. We haven't even talked about the tush push at all today. I don't think so. The short yardage game. It's a 4-down game. It's a 4-down game on every drive
for both teams.
Yeah, and then we haven't even talked about the kicker situations and stuff. The question marks around that. Jake Elliott finally misses. I don't know. Yeah, we can get into that later, but let's finish the picks.
Time is now, brother.
Yeah, I know. That's all.
Hey, Jimmy.
I guess it's me. Yeah, I'm going. I hated it. I'm going Chiefs, but it's definitely going to be the Chiefs. Yeah, it's going to be the Chiefs. I'm backing. I reckon Mahomes might get a little tutty today, a little cheeky tutty.
Ooh.
He did it against the Bills.
Late in, he'll be late, real close.
Sorry, Texans.
No, he'll be real close, and I think he'll sneak in somehow.
Yeah,
And that's fine. For us Aussies. It's paying $5. So
wow. No,
that's plus 500 in America speak, I believe.
there you go.
Hey, what is wait, Pat Mahomes touchdown is plus 500?
I think so. Yeah. Or
It's
for
high.
me,
Anytime touchdown?
Yeah.
How is that possible? Rushing or
it's
that's got to
gotta
be
be-
rushing?
It's got to
Yeah,
be
rushing.
Yeah,
rushing.
it has to be rushing.
Yeah, rushing.
There's no
yeah.
way passing touchdown is plus 5.
No,
Yeah.
it'll be him scoring it. Yeah.
Okay.
But actually,
Although
plus
that still might be
510.
good after they pulled the speed option against the Bills.
Oh, that was crazy. That was crazy. Is 2 Mahomes passing touchdowns plus money? Do we know?
I'll tell you what it is now.
I bet you
that's-
it's 2.5.
Sorry, 2 passing touchdowns. Did you say, Kevin?
Yeah. Is that minus still?
Yeah. It's $1.57. So what's that on minus 157? I think.
Man, you Australians do it weird.
No, we do it right. You know what?
Here we
Let's
go.
start this. Let's start this. Yeah.
I am upset that there's 3 Americans in because I thought I'm gonna have a second Aussie. I can hit all my sore points, the metric system, the way you do your dates. But the one thing the hill I will die on is your betting system is confusing. Our betting system is $2 to 1. Every dollar you put on, you get $2 back, and that's the way it works. 157, 180. That it's so much easier.
Until you're a degenerate, it doesn't make any sense. But I've crossed over. It makes a lot of sense to me.
Too much math, regardless.
I mean, he's willing to bet his rent, so we know he's a degenerate. He's going to be homeless one of these days.
And for
Don't hit it
us,
again.
there's 5 of us on this panel. I'm gonna bet 5 of my rents on this game.
He'll be homeless for the next 5 months.
You get the
Hey, man, this car is
I know a place you can stay, my guy.
Hey, I'll come back to Indy.
Hey.
Ladies and gentlemen, I think we might have done it. I think we might have done a Super Bowl.
Wow.
We might have broken down the NFL honors. We might have given you Super Bowl bets we love. These nuts is here, just absolutely.
I just had to. I love this. We got a prognosticator in the chat. Sunday Super Bowl MVP think is traded for Myles Garrett. Book it. There's your prop.
That's got to be
Miles Austin or Miles
plus $1
Garrett?
million. Aid.
MIL.
So is this a bit? Are we just going to ignore me? Am I like now the token Australian because the better looking ones come along?
Wait, what did we? What did we?
He hasn't given anything yet.
I haven't given my props.
You're old money, Adrian.
Adrian,
Yeah.
I'm 99% sure that you said that you had the Chiefs winning it and everybody turned their cameras off because they get nauseous. No, did that not happen?
I haven't told you my prop.
Oh,
Prop is important. You know,
Ladies
What
and
a
everyone
host.
Ladies and
everyone needs to be
gentlemen,
quiet for this sound drop. Everyone, hold on. No, wait, wrong one.
freaking jerks.
That's at you.
If this is your first legit football podcast with Adrian, you now are exposed to his complexes.
I'm such a diva.
He's
I
the
am.
best. He's our diva though. I would never trade you for a second round pick. All right, let it rip, babe.
Unless Luke's involved.
All right. So I'm going to put the Chiefs in in dazzling fashion. I'm going to say 34-31, high scoring game. I am going to say, so this is a sneaky one. Jalen Carter under 3.5 tackles and assists. So he has hit 3 or less in 6 out of the last 7 games. He's now sick as well. And he's against Patrick Mahomes, who is pretty good at avoiding.
Good pick.
Under 3.5 tackles.
Solid.
And bonus points, George Karlaftis over 3.5 while they overcompensate for Chris Jones.
Love it.
Somebody
Absolutely love
actually
it.
used their brains to put those props together. Good job,
Yeah.
Adrian. I'm
And-
like,
and almost
someone's
got
gonna
ignored.
propose.
All right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, now I think we may have done it. We broke down the Super Bowl from every angle. We gave you.
Did his mic just cut off?
That's just me. Your mic just cut off. Kevin.
Finish, yeah.
Mine. Can you hear me now? Can you hear me?
Yeah,
now?
we
Yeah,
can.
there you go.
Okay, Bueller. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we may have done it. We have talked about we have picked the Super Bowl. We have
Take
given
two.
you
It's live,
props,
but take two, Kev.
the props we love. We've broken down the NFL honors for one calendar year. He will be referred to as MVP 17. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been an amazing year on Legit Football. We will be back
Wait,
to break
how do you like
down-
my between two ferns? I got to ask this.
Oh.
How do you like this?
Absolutely. That is
awesome.
true set deck. The set deck of the year goes to Brad McFadden. Luke, how'd you feel being on Legit for the first time?
That was good fun. That was real
Good
good fun.
fun.
Yeah. It was like it's like interesting listening to people that I've listened to a few podcasts and whatnot, and people just
Sick.
harp on about nothing.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah,
Not
harp on
here.
about-
It's all
Nah,
about
here it was
something.
good. Yeah, it was real.
That's
good fun.
90% of what
Thanks,
we
mate.
do, actually.
Yeah.
If you've listened to
Caught
Looking
us on a
forward
good day.
Looking forward to having you back, Adrian. How'd you feel? Did you have a good time today?
like weirdly threatened, is that because like
You
I've
should
got I've got inferiority complex.
Yeah.
And sometimes I like the attention. It's weird being not the only Aussie.
Do you feel
Kinda
seen?
I kind of feel like I'm regretting inviting Luke. Is that weird? No.
Adrian, we love you.
it's-
You're truly irreplaceable. You have to know that. Jimmy
It's
Ray
a-
of NFL Stats. He just cut him off.
Yeah, irreplaceable. Stop talking.
Jimmy Ray of NFL Stats. How'd you feel, man?
I feel pretty good, man. You know, we need a 5-person panel every single
This
time.
is pretty fun.
You know,
This is pretty fun.
and for those who don't know, we continue this in the off season.
Oh, every week,
crazy.
every
Oh, yeah.
Friday.
It's insane. We have
Every
nothing to talk
Friday.
about when we are here.
And hey, while we're all here, let's do this. This is important. If you're not
Okay.
already subscribed to the Legit Football NFL daily newsletter, you freaking should be. Legitfootball.com. It's entirely free. 5, sometimes 6 headlines a day.
We had
Uh,
7 today.
Seven
Seven stories.
Seven?
That's
Yep.
crazy.
7
That's
NFL
crazy.
stories
Not to
today.
cover before the Super Bowl.
Y'all got to get, if you're not already on it, you're slacking. You should be. You will be after today. Legitfootball.com. It's entirely free. It's the best way to get your NFL news. Money Mac, anything to say to the good people before signing off?
Yeah, first of all, always fun. And if I can do my routine two ferns, I might come here more Fridays. I'm
It'd
in
be
my office, so
It would
throw
kick
that out there.
a lot of butt to have Brian. It's family friendly. It would kick a lot of butt to have Money Mac
We
back
all need
here.
some ferns in our lives.
Second, with regards to Luke, great job, great having you on. Kev, how did you start podcasting with Legit Football? Do you remember?
I do. It was actually a Thanksgiving panel.
It was
in I want to say
Thanksgiving.
2021 or 2.
I think it was
we-
22, 2 years ago, but guest appearance on
Yep.
a special episode for Thanksgiving.
Yep.
And look at you now, Luke.
And-
This is
and
that's
it's-
This is a takeover. You reckon that was it?
Yeah, the time of my life.
And mine was right before that too.
Was it?
Yeah, like March of 22.
That's crazy. Well,
oh, that's
and
right. Yeah.
Look
Yeah,
what the
got a
family's
DM.
turned into. You know, we got us. It's the Brady Bunch. We got the squares and everything. 531 people watching. I need that many comments, likes, shares. Go,
Jimmy, I
go.
think we got to do the power ranking show again next season. The 30 minutes
Let's
power
get it,
rankings
man.
draft.
Let's
We'd love
figure
that.
it out.
Man.
Oh
Yeah.
my gosh.
Fantasy Q&A,
I love it,
waiver
yeah.
wire. We gotta
Get
next
the
year.
demon back on.
Next,
Yep.
you gotta get the demon back. Next year, the podcast game will go crazy. If you've been along for the ride for Legit Football, this isn't the end. We have a recap show. We have an off-season show every week. But if you've been along for the ride this year, we can't thank you enough. That's what I have to say to the good people. These are days I'll cherish forever. Ladies and gentlemen, Legit Football NFL.
Oh, we lost you. Hold on.
There goes the mic again. It's
Ladies
too
and
much,
gentlemen,
too
am I
much Kevin.
back? Am I back? Ladies and gentlemen,
Just close it off
Yeah,
before he
yeah,
cuts
you're
you
good,
out.
you're good, you're good.
ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for everything. This is Legit Football, and we are out.